We have been learning this week about life cycles. We know that a life cycle is something that repeats. It starts as one thing, it goes through its whole cycle, and it ends up back being that thing again. So we are learning about all the different kinds of life cycles, and this week we are learning about plant life cycles. So today we are reading this story, The Carrot Seed. The author of this story is Ruth Krauss. She was creative and thought of the words for this story. The illustrator who drew the pictures is Crockett Johnson. A little boy planted a carrot seed. His mother said, "I'm afraid it won't come up." His father said, "I'm afraid it won't come up." And his big brother said, "I'm afraid it won't come up." Every day, the little boy pulled the weeds around the seed and sprinkled the ground with water. But nothing came up. And nothing came up. Everyone kept saying it wouldn't come up. But he still pulled up all the weeds around it every day and sprinkled the ground with water. And then, one day, what do you think's going to happen? Let's find out. A carrot came up. Just as the little boy had known it would. The end. So we know that plants can take a long time to grow. They start as a seed, and then they grow some roots, and then they become what we call a sprout, and then they can grow a flower, and that flower has some seeds in it. Those seeds can then grow new plants. So today we are going to try to draw the whole life cycle of a plant. So just like in the story, we're going to start with a seed. Let's start by drawing a seed. A seed. Perfect. Then, after our seed, we know what comes up is a sprout. A sprout is just a little tiny plant. They usually only have 2 leaves. And those 2 leaves are not very big. It's just a tiny sprout. But our sprout has some big roots on it, so we need to make sure we add those roots. Usually our roots come out of the seed before we can see the sprout. In the seeds that we looked at last week, we saw that our seed already had a root, but it didn't have a sprout yet. In the story, the seed is not coming up yet because it's still growing its roots. First it grows down into the ground, and then it grows up out of the ground. The next step in this process, seed, sprout. Then we're going to try to draw the next thing. The next thing is a kind of flower. So for this plant, I am going to make this plant a strawberry plant because I love strawberries. The other cool thing about strawberries is that strawberries have their seeds on the outside. If you've ever seen a strawberry plant before it has strawberries, you would know that it gets flowers before it gets strawberries. It gets white flowers, but white wouldn't show up on this paper. So I'm drawing pink flowers to show that before it's a strawberry, it's a flower. My next step is to draw the food that comes from our plant. So I am going to draw a little strawberry. And it's important that I remember to draw the seeds on the outside of my strawberry. because that's how this cycle repeats. And we know that all of our life cycles are going to repeat. Now, sometimes it's not the same seed, but it makes a new seed. That's why the life cycle works the way it does. So, this seed grew into a sprout. The sprout grew into a flower. The flower grew into a strawberry with lots of other little seeds on it. Now, one of those seeds is going to grow into another sprout. So it's a new seed, but it starts the cycle over again. Seed, sprout, flower, fruit with seeds on it, a new seed, sprout, flower, fruit with seeds on it. So even though it starts over, this seed made new seeds to start our process all over again. We know that this is a life cycle. We need to write life cycle. Let's sound it out. Life cycle. This is our life cycle. As always, I need to write my name on my life cycle. I can't wait to see if you can copy both of these words and this complex diagram of the life cycle of a plant. I am so excited to see what you work on. All right, I'm just about to finish writing my name so I know whose work it is. I'm so excited to see what you do. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.